Wow, so this was one of the best Marvel movies I've ever seen. It had some of the best fights. It was so refreshing to see something different from Marvel. Coming right after Black Widow, which felt like it was 7 years too late, even though it had a nice story, it felt like a 2014 movie. But this felt like a Phase 4 movie. It's creative, inventive, and had a great choreography to the point where it didn't even feel like a Marvel movie. That's how refreshing it was. Let's jump right into it. Shang Chi is an average guy who worked as a valet with his love interest slash best friend Aquafina, who is one of the best characters throughout the whole movie. She gives a great balance between comedy and seriousness and character development throughout the movie. She acts like the same way she does in her show Aquafina. I would recommend you watch it on YouTube. It's free. She has this goofy, awkward, try hard humor. But what makes her different in Shang-Chi is they show the other sides of her smartness, her cleverness, the wittiness, the sarcastic side of her. Some of her funniest scenes are the beef scene and the Hotel California scene. So anytime Aquafina would get into a confrontation, she would immediately start singing about Hotel California to confuse the person attacking her. But the writers hit it very well to where it always catches you off guard and you don't expect it. Another one of her funny scenes are the beef scenes where the waiter asks her what she wants to eat and her only option is beef. And then she says, I want beef. And then the waiter asks Shang-Chi the same thing and she says, I guess he'll have beef too. By the way, I was the first one to laugh at that scene. Everybody else started laughing after me. I want my credit. But those are some pretty good moments. She definitely follows the funny but surprisingly strong trope in anime. They have it a lot where they have a goofy main character who's surprisingly strong, then a side character who's strong but stern, or vice versa. In One Piece, you got Luffy and Zoro. In Dragon Ball Z, you have Goku and Vegeta, where you can instantly tell Vegeta is strong because he has that demeanor. But Goku, you figure it out over time after he shows you. Hunter x Hunter, I could go on. It's like that with Xing Chang and Aquafina. They're definitely building a relationship, like a couple relationship. But back to Shang-Chi, he's living his life having fun with Aquafina till one day he's riding a bus home and he gets attacked by some assassins and he acts like a normal guy. Aquafina treats him like a normal guy. She's telling him he can't fight. You got the wrong guy. Until one of the assassins try to take his necklace. When he goes to reach for it, he goes full badass and we see some of the most unique, refreshing fights throughout Marvel. I would honestly say it's the most action-packed first half of any Marvel movie. If you want to see a fights in Marvel, watch Shang-Chi. This is better than the fights in Endgame because those fights tend to be clashes instead of actual fights. Like you'll see Captain Marvel and Thanos clash, but you don't see them fight. In Shang-Chi, they actually fight. They actually get down. But Aquafina is in complete shock. She thought that Shang-Chi was just an average guy she met in high school and has been hanging out with every day and partying every day in their 20s with. But Shang-Chi's like, nope, I'm this super high level martial artist who's been training martial arts since I was 6. And the people trying to kill me were sent by my dad who's been behind most of the historical events for the last 1,000 years. Oh yeah, by the way, I have a sister and she wants me to come visit her. And Aquafina is in shock, but she's like, I'm coming with you. And they head on a plane, visit the sister, who turns out to run this underground fighting pit, who they trick him into joining the fighting pit. They have these smaller, easier fighting pits. And at this point, he's already gone viral because of the fight on the bus. So they're like, oh no, you're not getting in the small pitch. You're getting into the big pits. And that's when we first see Abomination and Wong. They're going at it. They end up drawing in the match. We don't see them in the movie for long. You can definitely tell that Abomination was just for promotion and hype for this experimental movie. Great marketing by Marvel. But Abomination seems like he's going to be more in Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. But we go back to Shang-Chi, and he hops in the cage with this girl, who turns out to be his sister. She whoops him, and she's still mad at him for leaving her as a kid. He's confused because she sent a note to him telling him to join her. She's like, no, I didn't. Turns out that this was all a setup to get them all in one place. They all end up getting captured, and this is where the dad first appears. He's this super ancient guy who's been running stuff in the background of the world for thousands of years. He's a very complicated character who did a bunch of bad stuff, changed his life for a little bit, and when his wife died, he turned crazy and started doing the same bad stuff. He definitely stands out as one of the more interesting villains in Marvel. I wouldn't say he's anywhere close to Thanos, but definitely top 5 villains because most Marvel villains you can't even name. Try to name the villain from Iron Man 3. You can't. You definitely got the most from Shane's father, more than any other character, even Shang himself. Could it be because they killed him in the end? So they had to flesh out his character and make him emotionally attachable? Yeah, but also I think they're trying to go for a good villain. But he ends up getting his hands on these special pair of rings that give him superpowers and eternal youth, which we learn a little bit more from the after credit scenes, which there are after credit scenes, so make sure you stay. But he ends up getting tricked into believing that his wife is still alive by a demon that needs him to break him out of prison he's locked into. And they have this typical bad guy trope where he's like, okay, we're just going to go in there, we're going to kill everybody, and we're going to get him out of there instead of actually looking at the situation logically. Shang is like, no, you can't go in there and just kill a whole bunch of random people. We seen her get killed. She's not alive. That doesn't make sense. You're going crazy. And Shang's father ends up throwing Shang in prison where they meet this actor and this magical pig who's where the mother was born, and they end up breaking out of prison and going to the place where their mother was born through this maze of trees, which was a really nice, well-made scene. Once we get there, we see a whole new universe with nine-tail fog, almost Narnia-like vibes. It's very creative, very out the box, which is why I love this movie so much. So experimental, something you usually don't see from Marvel. So after we get to the new dimension, Aquafina ends up learning how to shoot a bow and also gains some confidence. Then the dad pulls up with a mini army that he's been building up since his wife's death. They go back and forth, and Shang Chi and his dad have a 1v1, but he gets taken down the first time, and Shang Chi's dad breaks the demon out of the prison before Shang Chi learns his true power. After Shang Chi gets beaten by his dad, he's in this lake where he's lost his will to fight. Then he regains consciousness and starts to believe in himself again. He gets saved by this magical dragon who gives magic to this whole dimension. And together they end up beating the demon, and Shang-Chi learns his true potential and collects the rings from his dad before his dad dies by the demon. After that, we go to Wong, and he talks to them about how their whole lives have changed, and we get to Hulk and Captain Marvel at the end credits, and they talk about the ring being more important than the father. A really good teaser for the next movie that's definitely going to come. I thought the movie was really refreshing and very experimental. It definitely gives me Guardian of the Galaxy vibes. Because a quick history lesson, Guardians of the Galaxy was probably one of the most important movies for the Marvel universe because the heroes weren't very well known, and it was so different from the previous movies like Thor and Iron Man and Captain America, which were all pretty much at a certain place. Obviously, you had Thor, which was like kind of aliens, but it was kind of like Thor is well known because of its history, and those were already popular superhero movies. Outside of the hardcore comic readers, nobody knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were. It was a very experimental. Common Marvel movie watchers didn't know that there was a aliens in the sky and stuff like that. They didn't know that it was bigger than Earth. This felt different than the movies we had seen before, especially coming right after Black Widow, which was a standard Marvel movie, very in the box and how it usually goes. It was a really good watch. I would rate it an 8 out of 10. Some of the best fights in Marvels. A really solid villain. Would definitely recommend over Black Widow. But that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think. But that's my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Question of the day right there. Song of the day in the description. I'm out. Bye.
Yeah. One. 1, 2. Ayy. Niggas making me nauseous. Quit calling me conscious, team full of monsters. Young black king with a dream that I haunt you. What the fuck is you on?
I don't know, I've been on another way, praying for another day, searching for a better way, just to make it out of Pandora's box. I'm boxing these demons, just to watch the cops kill my people, now I'm scheming.
Ain't no need for water, I'm a leader. Tender to the earth, so pick your feet up. Niggas hate, I see they trying to stop.